Hi, welcome to the Listen Up Girl podcast. This is your daily LGBTQ plus news podcast. I'm Zach Randall-Friedman, and today is Monday, July 14th, 2026. We have 6 stories today: a gay Republican getting eaten alive by his own party, a devastating new law stripping health care from transgender inmates, an entire country amending its constitution to erase gay marriage, a political country breaking moment for LGBTQ Canadians, a moment of political comedy, and then, because we need to end somewhere hopeful, a story that will restore a little bit of your faith. So let's get into it with a gay Republican is shocked to discover that the GOP is homophobic. So let's start with a story that is equal parts alarming and deeply unsurprising. Reed Rasner is an openly gay Republican running for Wyoming's only House seat. He came out at the age of 20. He spent $1.2 million of his own money on his campaign. He endorsed the death penalty for pedophilia. He has called gender-affirming care for trans kids child abuse and has run as a loyal MAGA Republican every single step of the way. And his party has been calling him a pedophile. That's right, members of Rasner's own party have spent months spreading false allegations that he sexually abuses children. An Iowa man repeatedly posted the slur pedophile under his campaign Facebook post. A former Wyoming state senator allegedly started a whisper campaign accusing him of sexual misconduct with children. He's received death threats. He's been excluded from candidate forums, and the polls show him losing significant support after voters were told he was married to, quote, his gay husband in New York. Rasner is now suing his fellow Republicans for defamation. He told Semaphore, I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life. This isn't the Wyoming I knew or thought I knew. Here's the thing. This is the Wyoming he knew. This is the GOP he embraced. The groomer and pedophile slurs weren't invented for Reed Rasner. They were invented by the movement he supports as a tool to attack the entire LGBTQ plus community. The same party that has stripped rights from trans kids, blocked access to health care, and fired federal workers for being queer, is now using the same weapons on one of its own. Welcome to the leopard-eating faces caucus, sir. You helped build the cage. Our next story is Missouri governor signs law forcing trans inmates to detransition. Cold turkey. This one is serious and it's cruel. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed a new law that will force transgender inmates in state custody to stop all gender-affirming medical treatments immediately. No tapering, no transition, nothing. No plan, you're just going to stop. The law is buried inside a routine appropriations bill for the Missouri Department of Corrections. It's a single sentence tucked on the final page. No state funds may be used for hormone treatment or gender-affirming surgery for any inmate, period. For transgender people who have already undergone gender-affirming surgeries, doctors warn this isn't a political statement, it is a medical catastrophe. Abruptly stopping hormones can cause heart complications, metabolic dysfunction, severe bone density loss, cognitive decline, and acute mental health crisis. Medical professionals are calling it simply malpractice. Missouri becomes the 7th state to ban gender-affirming care for incarcerated people. A 2018 federal court ruling already established that denying this care to trans inmates violates the 8th Amendment's ban on crucial and unusual punishment. That ruling has not been overturned, and this law is almost certainly violates it. Legal challenges are expected, but in the meantime, real people inside Missouri prisons are about to be harmed because a single lawmaker slipped one sentence into a budget bill when no one was looking. Next, we go to Senegal. It amends its constitution to ban same-sex marriage. An international story now is a stark reminder that erosion of LGBTQ rights is indeed a global crisis. Senegal has amended its national constitution to explicitly ban same-sex marriage. The move is part of what the government is calling a broader crusade to eradicate gay people from the country. Same-sex relations were already criminalized in Senegal, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. The constitutional amendment now goes further, making marriage equality legally impossible at the foundational level of the nation's law. Sources on the ground are describing it as a witch hunt. Advocates say LGBTQ Senegalese people have gone deeper underground out of fear. International human rights organizations are condemning the move. noting it puts Senegal in line with some of the most aggressively anti-LGBTQ nations in the world. The pattern is clear, and we see it in Ghana, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and now more explicitly in Senegal. Governments around the world are racing each other to enshrine discrimination to the highest levels of their legal system. The orange convicted felons withdrawal from the global human rights frameworks, including HIV prevention, LGBTQ+ support programs, and foreign aid with equality conditions, has emboldened these governments. The rollback of rights abroad didn't happen in a vacuum. Leaderships, or the absence of it, is what matters. Our next story is LGBTQ Canadians are watching Alberta, and they are worried. Here's a developing story north of the border that could have real issues for queer people, and it's almost no attention in the U.S. media. On October 19th, Alberta, Canada, will hold a referendum asking residents whether they want to begin the process of separating Canada, and LGBTQ+ Canadians, particularly those in Alberta, are paying very close attention to what a separatist government might mean for them. Alberta's ruling United Conservative Party has a well-documented record on LGBTQ+ rights. Premier Daniela Smith has passed laws restricting gender-affirming care for minors, requires schools to out trans students to their parents, and has declined to distance herself from the separatist movement. One UCP lawyer compared transgender students to feces and food. Another voted to keep the separatist referendum question alive. The separatist movement itself draws heavily from the far right. Organizers have mourned the late Charlie Kirk, who suggested trans rights should be handled the way things were handled in the 1950s or 60s. Their platform language about family and parental control over education is the same language used to justify anti-LGBTQ+ school policies across the American South. Queer members of Alberta's legislature are urging people to take this seriously. Advocates say many in the separatist movement see LGBTQ issues as, quote, as ranging as irrelevant. As sovereign Alberta, shaped by that movement, would not be a safe Alberta, and that vote is just 3 months away. Let's see what happens. I guess it's happening everywhere in the world at this point. Next, J.D. Vance told a joke and no one laughed. So I'm giving you a brief palate cleanser because we need it. On July 1st, Vice President J.D. Vance visited troops at Naval Air Force Station Oceana in Virginia Beach. And because he cannot help himself, he decided to tell a joke at Joe Biden's expense about how Joe Biden would fall asleep and down the stairs of Air Force One, and no one laughed. Not one soldier. Not a single chuckle. Dead silence. The kind of silence that makes you want to crawl out of your own skin. Vance actually narrated his own internal monologue before delivering the punchline, which somehow made it worse. The video has gone viral. Social media has not been kind. I'm not here for gracious political dunking most days, but this moment feels like a metaphor for something larger. The people who are supposed to be loyal audience didn't show up. The joke didn't land. The crowd wasn't impressed, and the person at the podium didn't have the self-awareness to stop. Sound familiar? Next, a straight couple put up the biggest pride display on the block, and the governor came knocking. So we're ending today with a story that I genuinely love. A straight allied couple put up an enormous, joyful pride display in front of their home. Rainbows everywhere, flags, lights, the whole thing. Neighbors pushed back, haters came out online, and the couple didn't back down. Instead, their display got a surprise visit from a pro-LGBTQ+ governor who showed up to personally show support. The couple has been using their platform to educate people on why supporting the community matters, not in spite of the pushback, but because of it. In a week that included a Missouri governor stripping health care from trans prisoners and a country banning marriage equality in its constitution, this couple chose to put their pride display front and center and let the community know they were seen. Allyship isn't a social media post, it's a flag in front of your front yard and refusal to take it down. And right now, that matters more than ever. And that's your Listen Up Girl from Monday, July 14th, 2026. If this show is keeping you informed and connected, please take a moment to follow wherever you listen and leave a rating and review. It generally helps more people find us. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it today, and follow me on Instagram at TheRealZachRE. I'll be back tomorrow with more news. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay in it. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful week.